Okay, good morning. My name is Mr. Caleb Bikwara. Today, our math lesson today will be on pure maths, that's A level. The topic is functions and subtopic inverse functions. Our lesson objectives are, by the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to 1. Understand the meaning of an inverse function. 2. Find the inverse of a function. 3. Determine the range and the domain of an inverse function. Okay, to start with, we can just remind ourselves on what we learned on our previous lesson. We learned to introduce the functions, and there are only two things that I would like us to remember. One, I would like us to remember what is a domain. Then the second one, we also would like to know what is a range. So in simple terms, who can tell us what's a domain? So in this case, we say in simple terms, domain is just an input or the values of x, the input, and the range is the values of y, that's the output. So if maybe you are given a function, then you are told that identify the domain of this function, always given as, for example, let's say a is less or equals to x, which is less or equals to, let's say b. So a and b here, these are the domains of that given function. Now, to get the range of the function, we input or we put these values of a and b to the function that you are given, so that it will give us the output which will serve us as the range. Okay, good. That's what we learned in our previous lesson. So today's lesson, as I said earlier, that we will look at inverse function. And an inverse function, for example, if you have a function of, let's say, f of x, who can tell us, for example, what's an inverse function? Because I gave you this work to go and research, that when you come today, we are just doing some analysis, some evaluation, as well as application part of it. Yes, what's an inverse function? Yes, Mr. Felix. Okay. Yeah, we said, okay, an inverse function of f of x just is a function that undoes what f of x did. And in this case, the symbol for an inverse function, we say the f inverse of x. That is, it means this is the meaning, this is the symbol that's being used to refer to an inverse what? Inverse function. So in any given situation, when you see this symbol given an equation, it means you're being asked to find the inverse of f of x. Yeah. So you should make sure that you don't forget the meaning of this symbol. It simply means the inverse of the function f of x. Okay, as we said again, that in a normal function or in a function f of x, we said the domain is the input and the range is the output. But now there are some key points that I want us to write them down. You can say key points about the inverse function, the key points. Okay, in this case now, the domain here is, or the domain of an inverse function now is the range of the function that we had, the range of the function f of what? F of x. So if you got the function, the domain of a function of f of x as a, as you said, a less or equals to x, less or equals to b. This one now, if this one was the domain of the function, this one now will serve as the range of the inverse of that function. So now we say now the range now, the range of f of x is now the domain, is the domain of f f of x. So for the first one, the domain of f of x is the range of f inverse. Then the range of f of x is now the domain of f inverse. So that's how to master this. So when you're given a question, you're being asked to find the domain of f inverse of x, what you just simply do, go and check the range of function of f of x. Then if you're being asked to get the range of f inverse, just go and check the domain of f of x. Yeah. Okay. Again, there's some other things that you need to note down. How do we get the inverse of a function? So I can have maybe a small subtopic here, how to get the inverse of a function, let's say f of x, how to get an inverse of a function f of x. Now, from your research, what did you find? What's the first step of getting an inverse of a function? Yes, you can help your friend if maybe someone did research on that. Yes, Catherine, the first step. Write the function. Write the function as y equals to, now the function given. If that function, for example, is 5x minus 8, so now we write it y is equals to 5x minus 8. Good. The second step. Yes, Agok. Good. Interchange x and y variables. Now the next step is we interchange the x and y variables. You interchange x and y variables. So in this case now, for this example that we have here, when you interchange x and y variables, now it will become x equals to 5y minus 8. Well done. The next step. Yes, Joseph. Step 3. Well done. Rearrange to make y the subject. Rearrange to make y the subject. Yes. Now we rearrange our equation to make y the subject, or the subject. Sorry. To make y the subject. Yes. That's what we are supposed to do. Now, in this case, now who can come and make y the subject here? Yes, Emma. So x equals to 5 minus y. So to make y the subject, we need to add 8 on both sides. So now it will be x plus 8 equals to 5y, because minus 8 plus 8 will give us 0. Then now from here, to remove the 5, we divide both sides by 5. So divide both sides by 5. So in this case, now our f inverse of x will be y equals to x plus 8 all over 5. Well done. Good. Yes. That is how to make or to find the inverse of the function f of x, where we had an example of y equals to 5x minus 8. As we just said, that the first step is to write the function as y equals to 5x minus 8, for example. Then we interchange the variables. X will go in place of y, and y will take the place of x. So that here you can see we interchange x and y, those variables. So we got now x equals to 5y minus 8. Then we rearrange to make y the subject, and that's basically the last step, where now we rearrange our equation to make y the subject. And from the rearrangement, we came up with the results by saying y equals to x plus 8 over 5 as the inverse function of x. Good. Yes, who has any question? Oh yeah, yes. We need to. The second step is very important, where we interchange x and y, because now when you don't interchange, it means we have done nothing. Because let's say, for example, we just left. Because our intention here, or to get the inverse, is to make sure we make y the subject. So we cannot make y the subject when it's already a subject from the first equation. So we need to interchange them and make y the subject at the end of the calculation at the end of the day. Mhm. Okay, how about the domain and the range? Okay, in this case here, we are not given either the domain or the range, unless maybe the question is specific. Maybe you're told that uh, maybe the input value or the domain is, let's say, x is greater or equals to, let's say, to 3 or to 0. So in this case here, if the function was given as, and the domain was given as x is greater or equals to 0, it means now this one is our domain of the function f of x. So 0 is the domain. Now, for us now to get the range of the function itself first, we need to put 0 here. To substitute 0 with x now, we get, for example, now, if we substitute 0 to x, we now have 5 multiplied by 0, then minus 8. So in this case now, our range is negative 8. As we said earlier, what will be the domain of the inverse of that function? Yes, Khalid? Ah, well done. Yes, we said that now the domain will be the range of the function. So now the f inverse of that function now, its domain now will be negative 8. And now 0 will be now the range of the of that inverse function. Yes, that's what I think that's what we said. Good. Now maybe we can do example 2. Let's do one more example here. For example, let's look at question 1b. Says that f of x equals to x squared plus 3 for x, all are real values, where x is greater or equals to 0. Maybe let's just talk about this question. There's something I would like to ask here. Um, what is the domain of this function f of x? Mahmoud? Well done. Let's clap for Mahmoud. Now, the domain here is 0 because the values of x is given as x is greater or equals to 0. So in this case, the domain here is 0. How do you get the range? Who can work out for us the range? Yes, Yonis? Yes, now we said, now to get the range, we input the value of x, we substitute them to the equation or to the function given. Now it will be now 0 squared plus 3. 0 squared is just simply 0. So in this case, our range here is what? Is 3. Yeah, good. So this one is our range. Well done. Now, I want us now to find the inverse of this function. Someone to volunteer? Our function is f of x squared plus 3. Let's just follow from step 1 to step last. Yes, Barbara? We said we replace f of x with y, so we say y equals to x squared plus 3. Good. Let's continue, Barbara. Yes, we interchange the variables. Now here will be x equals to y squared plus 3. Good. We rearrange to make y the subject. So simply here we need to remove 3 from the right. So we subtract 3 on both sides. Subtract 3 on both sides. So it will be now x minus 3 equals to y squared. And next step, last one. Next. Yes, to remove the square, we need to find the square root on both sides. So now here our function will be y equals to x minus 3, then we find the square root. Good. That's now the f of x inverse, or the inverse of the function f of x. Yeah, good. Now, we have another question here. Maybe you can we can try question 4. I'll be going around seeing what you're doing. You can discuss with your friend. Yeah, let's attempt question 4. I think 2 minutes are enough for you to do question 4. If your group is done, you can just raise up your hand. I'll be going around checking. Kaden, your group is done? Okay. Let me see your work. Okay, I clearly see your steps as you made you said to write the equation as x plus 1 cube minus 4. I like that idea. I like your research. There's some restriction that you made on x. So that we had 4 minus 4 plus y, sorry, equals to x plus 1 cube. Found the cube root on both sides. Nice. Then now you got y plus 4, the cube root, equals to x plus 1. Nice. Then you removed 1 from both sides, so minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 plus or minus y plus 4 cube root equals to x. Good. Now you interchange the x and y. Well done. So now you got y equals to minus 1 plus y, not y, sorry, x plus 4, then cube root. Good. Now I like your teamwork. I like your how you all collaborate. This is good. Any other group? Elam, your group? You got the same? Well done. Good. Which group have I not checked the work? Ilham? Oh, nice. All got the same. Good. That is now the part A. Part B? Which group wants to volunteer to do for us part B? Mahmoud? Oh, nice. Come. You said you first get the range of the function itself. So now we are given the input values of x as 0. So now we get the range. So now we say from our function, here is our function. So we need to get the range of that function where now we say 0 plus 1 cube, then minus 4. Good. We get 1 cube minus 4, which is equivalent to negative 3. So our domain now is x is greater or equals to negative 3. Well done. This is beautiful. This is good. Amazing. Okay, now I would like, there's a question here I'll give you as homework. You'll attempt question 5 as the homework, unless someone has a question. Who has a question? Oh, the lesson today has been wow. Okay, thank you. Have you learned something new today? Well done, well done. So guys, see you tomorrow, and